Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of ChinnyVision. This time, some freezer maintenance. And if the audio sounds a little bit different today, the reason is I've had to relocate due to building work, and I probably should have picked a building themed game rather than Mr. Freeze. Loading this up on a Sinclair Spectrum, my +2 from the original tape. Mr. Freeze is a 1984 game by Firebird. And it's one of those games where you can see the cover, so I'm going to put it on the screen, that those Firebird games where they include the screenshot on the cover as opposed to actually having some artwork. Quite innovative at the time, although now it doesn't look very exciting because the game doesn't look particularly exciting in itself. The game retailed for £2.50. This was a price point that Firebird used before the $1.99 price point became common. Runs on all spectrums from 48k onwards. You look at the screenshot and think it might be a very basic game that runs on a 16k speccey. No, it needs the full 48k as was common by 1984. So the game's loaded up and here we go. We are Mr. Freeze, the character down the bottom there with the bad colour clash going on around the edge. It's not really colour clash, is it? It's some kind of sprite attribute thing. Oh, I'm dead. Right, so, yeah. The task is to de-ice each of the 6 screens by reaching that flashing de-icer box at the top and then getting out again. Yep, it's like Manic Miner. Right, avoided that time. The motion is very jerky and jumping is not easy. I'm dead there. Right, try and get this jumping motion. Right, okay, right, I think I've got the hang of this now. Up here. Didn't get killed that time. Jump. Oh! And you die if you fall one level. It's Manic Miner, isn't it? It's a Manic Miner clone. Except you can fire things. You do have a gun that you can fire at the enemies. All right, let's get this right. Too close to the edge. This is difficult. These controls do not work very well at all. Done it. Right. And I'll jump over that thing. Even though I touched it, I seem to survive. Although I think it's lethal. Fire the gun. It only goes so far. If you fire the gun, it doesn't kill the enemies, but it does make them move in the other direction. Which should enable me to get up here. As you have seen, all the ladders are guarded by a laser, which is that asterisk thing at the top of the screen that moves around. I'm dead. Didn't seem to work that time. It's fiddly, this game. So up the ladder. Right, avoided that. Easy to jump this time. Right, done that. Over this one. Right, done that. Not the game is particularly difficult. The controls, however, are particularly horrific. Right, come on. Zap him. Just need to zap him for long enough to get up this ladder. Can I get out of the way? Oh, I couldn't move. I got to the top of the ladder and I couldn't move. Right. Oh. This is frustrating. Come on, we're going to do screen 1. We're going to complete screen 1. Get our £2.50 worth. So I think this game cost me slightly less than that because I've got it on eBay. Right, jump there. My friend had this on his 464 and it wouldn't load on my 6128 when I borrowed it. And it turns out it's one of those early games that some programmers had taken some shortcuts on and didn't work on a 6128. Very, very rare as far as I understand. I think all the copies online now are fixed. Right, so we got past there. The asterisk thing only shoots you when you're on the ladder. There we go, we've defrosted screen 1 of 6, but we've got to escape now. So again, it's like Manic Miner, you've got to get back to the beginning, although there's no end of screen limit. Right, can I jump down there? Can I jump down there? Right down there. But that asterisk thing's going to come from me, isn't it? Oh, I'll give it a go. See if we can get down here. No! Is the idea you have to go to the ladder on the game over? You have to go to the ladder on the left first, and then so it's got more time to come over to the right. It's not very clear. The instructions don't give you many hints. Mr. Freeze should move up and down the ladders and go to another compartment. He's got 6 lives and beware of the lasers guiding the stairs. That's it. It doesn't give you any hints at all. So I guess it's a puzzle element that you have to do here because you've got to work these ladders. So you see now he's too close and I'm not going to get up there. Should I go on that right ladder first and then I don't know. You've got to work out the order to use these ladders. Dead now. And you get no indication when you first come on the screen where the laser is. It only appears the first time you go on a ladder. Which means the first time you use a screen or go to a screen, you're basically going to die. Right, no, I've waited too long, haven't I? Ah! Oh! See, I want to trick it onto that ladder. Jump over here, and then that should give me enough time to go up this ladder here. Go up this ladder. Right, now I've got to jump down to that. I like the colour of the fireballs. It's yellow and red. It looks quite effective. Oh, I've fallen. These controls are rubbish. These controls are utterly rubbish. Oh, dear. Let's quickly look at another screen. More of the same. This is screen 3, and I get... You see? Look, that's the first time I've seen that screen. You've got no idea. Oh, dear. Pretty rubbish. Moving over to the Amstrad CPC, this version is by David T. Clark, who wrote the Spectrum version. Nice white background here. It's mobile graphics, medium resolution. Should look similar to the spec, and indeed it does, although the layout seems to be taking advantage of the CPC's extra resolution. It's the same layout, but oh, that's vicious. Ho ho! That was fast. I mean, on the Spectrum version, you've got a hope of getting out the way, but that is really up, move. Oh, just missed it. You're not even talking quarter of a second to get out the way. You're talking milliseconds. Oh. Right, okay, I've established the controls on the CPC version are even worse than the Spectrum version. Even less responsive. Right, I'm going to try to do screen 1 again. Oh, so close. Jump. Actually, I said that layout being the same. It's not, because that little thing you have to avoid down there is in a different place on this version. Right, so... Jump. Oh, fire didn't respond. Dear me. I know this was only a budget game from 1984, but... Oh. One more go on this screen just to see if I can get up there, see the differences. Jump over that. Collision detection on this isn't great either, like the Spectrum version. You seem to be able to touch those square objects that kill you. And, oh dear. Right, I'm going to move it onto another screen. This is screen 3 that we saw on the Spectrum version. Again, a slightly different layout. Got a horizontal floating egg. Is that one of the sprites from Jet Set Willy turned on its side? It looks a bit like one of the sprites from Jet Set Willy turned on its side. Right. Oh. As I said, the lasers on this version aren't quite as thick. They're not the full ladder width that the Spectrum version is, so you do stand a chance of getting out the way. I wonder if that could be exploited in some way. So I've tried to trick it now. This isn't going to work, is it? No, it's not going to work. Oh, I'm dead. How? How do you do this? I'm missing something here. I'm missing something. So you trick it onto this ladder here. Right, so it's tricked onto that ladder. But then it's going to come over here and then it's going to go straight for the next ladder. How do you do this? Give it a go. Oh, just enough time. Okay, so it does give you enough time to do that. Right. Oh, no, horrible. Couldn't fire and jump. Not at the same time, but close together. The controls on this are absolutely awful. Over the C64, and at least you have smooth scrolling graphics because of the sprites and a repetitive tune in the background. And again, a slight variation in the screen layout. It's not much, but it's just very slight. Ah, the controls are much better. That's good. Right, the controls are much better on the C64. You do actually stand a chance of the game responding to whatever control you press, especially with the jumping. That said, I've just fallen down there. Ah, I got zapped. And there's no way out unless you, I suppose you could trick it back again. Each screen has to be tackled a specific way. And if you don't, you're absolutely done for. And there's only 6 screens on this. It's not like Manic Miner where there's quite a few more screens. There's just the 6 screens, and I think Mastertronic were already starting to come out with more ambitious budget games by this time than Mr. Freeze. But overall, here on the C64 so far, it seems to be a slightly better experience just because the controls work. Right, can I complete this screen? Of course I can't, but we'll give it a go. Down I go. Oh, that thing's gonna go again. Alright. Is this a mistake? Do I need to trick that left-hand ladder? Oh! Possibly. On to screen 2, and again very similar to the Spectrum version. And the graphics are nice and high-res here on C64. But again, it's the same problem. You're not going to disguise really dodgy gameplay with improved graphics and improved animation. It's still absolutely diabolical. Oh! You see, I was complimenting the controls and then that didn't work. It's fairly rubbish. So I moved it on and I've managed to de-ice level 2 or stage 2 or screen 2, whatever we're calling it. Now, can I get off this screen? Presumably it wants me to fall down there because there's no way I can use the ladder. But where's the way out now? I've still got to get on that ladder unless it's expecting me to jump to the right. I don't know. Oh. And yeah, all the other screens are, well, increasingly complex up to screen 6, but they're all just as rubbish. Now here's a surprise, Mr. Freeze wasn't working on my BBC Master, but over the weekend I've installed a multi-OS ROM, so the BBC Master now thinks it's a BBC B. And the first game I tried with Mr. Freeze, and it loaded up off my SD card, so here we go. So nice to actually be able to show a BBC game as it's intended, as opposed to all the problems I usually have with the BBC Master. This has been converted by Timothy Wilkinson, and a rather tuneless tune on the menu screen. Press space to start, and a big jump from the high-res graphics or medium-res graphics on the other versions and the animation on the C64. This feels like a game programmed in BASIC. It's very, very slow and very, very low res. Yeah, the controls are equally bad as the Spectrum and Amstrad versions. Here, it feels like your keyboard isn't working. Up we go, and I'm dead. Oh dear. Well, we can say it's nice and colourful, I suppose. Aeons pass as you traverse the screen. Up we go. Can I get out the way? Oh! And again. Yes, just did it. Oh, that timing is just as bad as the Amstrad version. Jumping's a bit easier. Might just be the fact it's on the keyboard this time. Over we go. I should know this by now. Oh. Over we go again. And one final time. And we've de-iced screen 1. Oh, that doesn't... Oh dear, that was pretty horrid. Basic sound effects as on the Amstrad and Spectrum versions here on the BBC. At least there's not a tune blasting from the speaker. And yeah, all the screens look pretty much the same. A little bit of colour once you get onto these screens with these other multicolour baddies on. But the more baddies there are on screen, the more the game slows down. Really has the feeling of a game that, if it does have machine code, it's the absolute bare minimum. Really slow now as you get onto the complex screens. This isn't running on an ELK. This is running on a proper BBC Master / BBC B, so it's full speed. It feels like an Elk game, but there's no Elk version of this. It just runs incredibly slowly. So, Mr. Freeze, yeah, it's a pretty rotten game on all the systems. Really can't separate them out much. The Spectrum and Amstrad versions, well, yeah, the detailed graphics, but that's pretty much all you can say about them. The C64 has nicer animation and slightly better controls, but it's still rubbish, and the BBC version feels like it's been programmed in BASIC. Despite the basic graphics and the controls being, well, they vary from rotten to absolutely abysmal across all the versions, well, the gameplay is very, very basic, and it's very unfair, really, because the first time you enter those screens you will die because you don't know where the laser is going to appear from. It's a case of trial and error and memorising what you do. But if the gameplay is unfair, the controls render it pretty much unplayable, certainly on the Spectrum, Amstrad and BBC. In 1984, well, for your £2.50 you would have got some basic enjoyment out of the game, I suppose, but actually there were better games around on budget even that early. Today, it really looks like the bare minimum of a game you could have got away with in 1984. It's not very playable, the controls are absolutely diabolical, and there really is no reason to play this game at all.